What are the three best exercises in the entire world? We've got the hot takes from three more of the world's foremost exercise and physiology experts. In this episode of the podcast, our third episode of the series, you'll hear directly from these professionals about what they choose as their absolute top three best exercises in the entire world. Tune in and take notes.
Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we hear and learn from our coaches, CrossFitters, and Glen Ed community leaders. Now, here are your hosts, Dallas and Greg.
You're here because you want to look your best, feel your best, perform your best, be your best athletic self, go out there, live your best life. And with all these different demands on your time, all these different demands on your attention, you don't have a whole lot of time to waste. Good news for you is that in these episodes of our podcast, we synthesize the most important things you need to know down to bite-sized pieces so that you can learn what you need to learn so you can make the absolute most of your time in the gym or your time in the kitchen with your healthy eating. In this episode of the podcast, we've done the homework for you. We're going to hear from three more of the world's most famous exercise, fitness influencers, thought leaders. Today, we're going to hear from Rich Froning, the CrossFit Games champion, Dorian Yates, one of the world's most famous ever bodybuilders, and David Goggins, the Navy SEAL, and potentially one of the most famous men on the planet for being just almost superhuman level physical and mental toughness. We'll hear from all of them with what are their very best ever exercises, their top three. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Rich Froning is possibly the most famous CrossFitter in the entire world. He's a multiple-time CrossFit Games champion as an individual competitor and a multiple-time CrossFit Games champion as a CrossFit team competitor. He continues to keep up a very active social media presence, and he's one of the most influential voices and personalities in the sport of CrossFit. I find it very interesting because I really did a lot of homework on this going into this episode, that Rich has never actually come out and said his top three best exercises. But if you look to what he actually does from day to day, week to week, month to month, you'll notice that there are certain standbys, exercises that come up over and over and over in his weekly rotation. These exercises in particular, I think we could reasonably deduce are his best exercises because he prioritizes them and makes these exercises a point of focus and a way that he allocates time, energy, and effort every single week. So what are those exercises? Number one, multiple variations of squats, front squats, back squats, goblet squats, wall balls, squats, one of the world's best full body exercises, a way of shaping and defining glutes, hamstrings, quads, calves, your core, your abs, having great lower body muscle definition and tone, as well as just being real world strong throughout your entire lower body. Squats are it, and I think it's no accident that Rich Froning makes a point of doing this exercise and its multiple variations every week. Number one, squats. Number two, presses. This might be bench presses, shoulder presses, push presses, so many different variations of presses. But every single week, Rich Froning, CrossFit Games champion, does presses for strength work every single week. I don't think it's an accident that he has some of the strongest shoulders in CrossFit as well. There's a lot of translation of this exercise to whether you're in everyday life trying to put a box onto a high shelf, lift up a child into the air when you're playing in the swimming pool, or doing handstand push-ups in a sportsy CrossFit application. Presses are a great way of building very strong shoulders and a very strong core. Number two for Rich Froning, presses. Number three, deadlifts. Deadlifts at their core are the act of lifting an object from the floor to waist level using your legs and a neutral spine, i.e. lifting with your legs, not your back. If you want to have a strong body, strong mind, and an ability to kind of take care of everyday household stuff independently way into your later years, deadlifting is a skill you need to have, and it's definitely one that Rich Froning champions and uses on a week-to-week basis. So we believe that squats, presses, and deadlifts are Rich Froning's 3 best exercises ever. But I think it's also noteworthy that Rich Froning has expressed on many occasions that Olympic weightlifting, particularly cleans, jerks, and snatches, are also some of his absolute favorite exercises to do. And he actually uses these exercises as a reward system for himself. If he does the hard other exercises he doesn't feel like doing, he'll reward himself with a training session where he does more cleans and more snatches. And so we see cleans and snatches come in his weekly rotation over and over and over as well. So those might be a part 4, part 5, his best ever exercises list. That's hearing from Rich Froning. Let's now go to Dorian Yates, one of the world's most famous, most well-known names in the bodybuilding space. So what did Dorian Yates pick as his top 3 best exercises? Number 1 is the leg extension or knee extension, which that's when you're on a machine, you're seated, and you extend your knee against resistance. In terms of having a way of building a strong quadriceps muscle, a well-defined quadriceps muscle, the leg extension is a great exercise for that. And Dorian Yates was well known for having amazingly well-developed, well-defined quadriceps. I'm sure that the leg extension had a part of that. His second best exercise related is a leg pushing exercise. He specifically cited a few different exercises that all of which to him fall in the same category: the squat, the leg press, or the Smith machine. And anybody who's been in the gym space for a little while recognizes that these are all different leg pushing activities where you're using not just your quads, but also your hamstrings, your glutes, your calves to extend and press a resistance away from you. This has all the same benefit of helping you to be better able to go up and down stairs, get in and out of chairs, go up and down hills, carry objects. Having strong, capable legs is one of the ways you can ensure a high quality of life. Leg pushing exercises are essential for that. And Dorian Yates' third exercise was the Nautilus machine pullover, which is a variation of a lat pull or a variation of a pull-up. Another exercise we've heard from multiple exercise experts now is one of their favorites. This is a great back builder exercise, building that V taper shape where your shoulders are a bit wider, your stomach, your midsection is narrower, having that attractive V formation shape. Pullovers, pull-ups, variations are all a great way of building muscle in your latissimus as well as in your biceps. So if you want to have that V formation and have well-defined arms, shapely biceps, the pullover is a great way of doing that, and it's one of Dorian Yates' top 3 favorite exercises. Finally, we'll hear from David Goggins, the famous Navy SEAL and online influencer who is one of the world's leading voices in the exercise space. Besides being fantastically well accomplished from a military background standpoint, he's also well known to be one of the world's toughest men, physically and mentally. He's got an incredible track record of just astounding feats of endurance and no quit mentality. Here's what he gave as his top three exercises in the world. Number 1, running. The old standby, proverbially speaking, for building endurance, stamina, conditioning, as well as an everyday practical ability. The ability to run away from danger, run to, be of assistance to a person. Running is just an incredibly great exercise and very, very useful to people who want to live their active lives. David Goggins also runs multiple miles a day, often multiple times a day. Running is number one. And benefit doesn't require any equipment. You can go out and run wherever, whatever space you have available to you. His number two exercise, pull-ups. Where have we heard that before? If you've been following this series, our 3 best exercises ever according to professionals series, now we have several exercise professionals that have all chosen variations of pull-ups or pull-ups themselves to be among their best 3 exercises for all the reasons we've talked about before. So I won't belabor the point. David Goggins, number 3 best exercise ever, push-ups. We note here, just like with Rich Froning and his presses, David Goggins is a big fan of push-ups. I've heard it said before that nobody is too good for a good set of push-ups. If you want to build a strong chest, strong arms, a strong core in a way that doesn't require any equipment, doesn't require any specialized skill, some variation of push-up is a great way of doing it. Shapely muscle, strong body, and very practical strength that you can use to keep you safe in a fight or just look imposing in a t-shirt. Push-ups are a great way of doing that, and it's David Goggins' 3rd exercise in the best ever list. So to recap very quickly now, Rich Froning, CrossFit Games champion, squats, presses, and deadlifts is his top 3. Dorian Yates, bodybuilder, the leg extension machine, some leg pushing exercise, and pullovers. And David Goggins, Navy SEAL and online influencer, running, pull-ups, and push-ups are his top 3. What are your top 3 exercises ever? We'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. Give us your 3 heavy hitters, the 3 best exercises in the world according to you. And tell us if you think any of these exercise professionals are spot on or if they're totally crazy and you totally disagree. We'd love to hear from you guys. Share your thoughts in the comments below. For now, we thank you for the gift of your time and your attention, and we'll see you guys in the next episode of the podcast. Till then, peace.